Very glad to be here. Marcus Lehto, can you tell something about yourself and your career so far?
Oh, sure. My name is Marcus Lehto. I am the creative director and president of V1 Interactive, my new studio. But I got my start in gaming, working on some small games with a small company at that time called Bungie. We were working on, a game.
Familiar.
I actually started working on Myth: The Fallen Lords, one of their RTS-type titles, which was just really fun. But immediately after that, I started working just with Jason Jones, the president of the company at that time. There's just two of us. We started working on this new game that ultimately turned into Halo, and we had no idea what it would become, but. It grew and shocked everybody that it grew as fast as it did. And we moved our company from Chicago out to the Seattle area and kept growing the franchise into what it is today. And after that, we bought ourselves back and started working on Destiny. So I've had about 23 years of working on big AAA type size games. And loved every minute of it, honestly. It's definitely a roller coaster ride, but it was a really good experience to have, and allows myself as well as several other people that I've been able to hire at V1 Interactive, who are seasoned devs. We understand how to make very high quality games like Halo and like Destiny. But we also understand and are really excited about having a much smaller studio. We're only 30 people.
Yeah, what made you move from AAA studios like Bungie and founded your own studio?
Mm-hmm. So as Bungie had grown to nearly 600 people or so at the time that I left, I wanted to get back to a place where everybody knew each other, where everybody was hands-on and critical to the success of the project. So that was one of the main reasons why I left. It's not because I had any issues with people there at Bungie. I still am really good friends with a lot of them, but V1 was something that I wanted to start just so we could be a small team and we could have a place where even I am critical path to making pieces of the game. Like I love building games. It's really a privilege to make games. So here we are, all 30 of us making a really exciting brand new thing.
Yeah, and it's called Disintegration.
Yeah.
We saw the first trailer a couple of days ago, and I can't express how excited I am about this new title. But can you tell us something about what inspired you to to develop Disintegration?
So it actually started out, funnily enough, as a real-time strategy game, kind of like Halo did, which was not planned by any means. But I was really excited about making something kind of like in the spiritual successor of like Myth: The Fallen Lords, one of the very first games I started working on at Bungie. But we took this game, this idea of this real-time strategy game where these units had unique abilities and we could micromanage them and do all kinds of things, and it was like a standard RTS. It was fun, it was okay, but it wasn't really that unique. There were several other games just like it out there. So we decided at one moment, I can't even pinpoint when it was, that I decided, I really want to try something completely different. And take that eye in the sky and actually make that the player who's an active participant in combat with those units on the ground. And that's when things got really fun for us, and we had to invent all these brand new mechanics for, like, what is that thing in the sky? It's this vehicle we're calling a grav cycle now. We're putting the player in the seat of that vehicle. We're giving it onboard weapons, both offensive and defensive. And then we're inventing brand new gameplay mechanics to allow you to engage with those units on the ground, each of whom have different abilities and things that you can do strategically in gameplay. Like, how does that all work together? in a way that's fluid and cohesive and understandable by the player. That was a really hard challenge to try to solve. So it took us a long time to work through those gameplay mechanics and actually get to something that just totally clicked.
Yeah, so there's Disintegration, a sci-fi first-person shooter with a campaign and an online multiplayer part, with a release window early 2020, if I'm correct.
That's the idea. It'll be around the end of Q1 or beginning of Q2 of 2020.
Can you tell us something about both the campaign and the online multiplayer?
Sure. It actually started out only as a single-player solo campaign mission type game. That was all we were going to focus on, because that's, as a small team, that's all we thought we could do. But after we were able to sign the deal with Private Division as our publisher, they upheld a lot of the same ideals that we do with regards to the quality of the game, and also the features that we would love to pack into it. So it allowed us to grow a little larger, to where we could then accommodate some of the things that we just love about games. And in addition to campaign, we also wanted to build a multiplayer component to the game that we're super excited about. We have 3 gameplay modes right now that we are focusing on for launch, and each one of them has unique maps and that kind of thing to play.
Okay. So can you tell us something about the 3 modes that are part of the online multiplayer?
I can talk about the one that we're showing here.
Yeah.
It's called Retrieval. You have 2 different objectives that the players can choose from, that the team can choose from. They have to go steal one of these objectives, these energy cores, and deliver these energy cores safely to the enemy territory's base, where they then launch into the sky. So on the first round, you are either on offense or defense, and you either have to offensively go in and get those cores and deliver them and score 1 of 3 points, or you can be on defense and prevent that offensive team from actually delivering those cores. And then midway through, we swap sides and play from the other perspective. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I have the honor to play the game yesterday, and it seems almost flawless at this point. But I can't.
I'm happy with
Yeah, but there must be challenges along the road the past couple years. Can you tell us something about that?
There are. We're still in the middle of production, so things are still changing, still getting better, and even here we see things that we are just like, oh, I can't wait to get back to Seattle so we can actually start addressing some of these design mechanic things that we're really excited about. But the challenges for us have been just how do we solve some of these the mechanics of working with those units on the ground that feels like it's part of the first-person shooter experience. So we created this new thing called a command pulse. It's like firing a weapon down on the ground. So that is what tells your units to move throughout the environment and do contextual things that are important to their survival and important to the strategic usage of those units. But that wasn't something that came easily. We worked very hard on trying to solve that problem, and we had to take lots of different courses, some that failed. And it was that was natural part of building a game. So we charged up to the top of the hill, find out, wow, that was a miserable mistake. But along the way, we learned all kinds of really good things. So we come back down, regroup, rethink that problem, and charge that hill again. And we try that time after time after time until we finally landed on something that we think is truly innovative.
Yeah, it's nice, and people can see a trailer or some gameplay parts of it on the YouTube channels. Yeah. So there are 3 online multiplayer modes, and there's a campaign mode which started first in the developmental process. Can you tell us something about the narrative behind the campaign?
Sure. The narrative is about a character named Romer who is one of the in the future these humans who have been integrated into robotic form. It's a form of survival in order to survive a really awful pandemic that is wreaking havoc with humanity, bringing it almost to the point of extinction. So as a means of survival, humanity has turned to this form of integration with robots in order to survive this wave, this time period, with the hope that they can ultimately, once they solve the world's problems, become human again. But some of these who have been integrated don't want that. They don't want to become human again. They have gone off into this other trajectory that has left humanity behind. And not everybody agrees with that, and some try to break away and fight against it. But they're captured or destroyed, and some escape, though. And you play a group of these integrated characters who have completely escaped and are hiding and are trying to regroup and begin fighting a small battle around the global conflict that's much bigger than them.
Well, it's nice to hear. Are there some things that you are willing to share with us regarding either the campaign mode or either the online mode, which we not yet discussed?
Well, there are a lot of new characters that we are not talking about yet, but there are a lot of great characters that you're going to be introduced to soon, we hope.
World premiere for Xbox Nederland?
Yeah, we'll have to determine when that's coming out, right. But new characters, new destinations even within the campaign that we haven't yet talked about. So the campaign itself takes you on a pretty wild roller coaster ride, and has the player engaging with a huge variety of different enemy types and different combat scenarios, which we're real excited about. And then on the multiplayer side of things, we are building this game to be expandable. So not only will there be more multiplayer modes, there will be new crews, and then you can customize your crews and you can do all kinds of other cool things with regards to aesthetic upgrades like skins and materials and everything like that, just to allow players to express themselves creatively in ways that they choose.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to learn more about the game Disintegration. Thank you very much for your time, and we will follow it with much interest.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry. Were you two having a moment? I can leave y'all be.
What? The grav cycle? I'm a pilot.
Uh-huh.
It's called a pre-flight inspection.
No judgments here, huh?